You don't have to feel frustrated anymore. You can do something about it now by getting involved with this group. And as I look around this, almost every phone in the studio is busy. You might be able to get through at 923. If you can't, don't let that stop you. Get to the phone and call us at 1-800-225-1234. You've got 4 minutes left to double the value of your pledge, and think how much good that will do in bringing more programs like this to you. We saw the plight of the greatest land animals on Earth earlier on our elephant special from the National Geographic. We are now seeing the incredible plight of the whales that Johnny Carson told you about. And now we're finding a way we can do something about it. It's not so often that the opportunity comes our way to do something about the things that we're concerned about, but this is it. At this moment in time on Wednesday night, double the value of your pledge, become a member of the Marine Mammal Stranding Center, and you're going to feel awfully good. Here's Mary McKinney.
You'll feel doubly good. We have not only that Marine Mammal Stranding Center for a pledge of $40. As you can see the clock counting down now down to 3 minutes in that subscriber challenge. Remember, as Ed said, your gift will be matched dollar for dollar up to $2,000. We're going to stay with you at 923-1234 waiting for your call. If you can't get through, try our 800 number, 1-800-225-1234. You can become a subscriber to TV12 for a pledge of $35. We'll be happy to send you the zoo book on whales for a pledge, our free gift to you, to let you know how much we care about your pledge and how important it is to us. You know, that dream of public television has been made a reality by you. We can ensure the future of it and the future of this kind of programming with your pledge. That 800 number is 1-800-225-1234. There really is a kind of electricity when we feel the response, and we can almost feel it coming through here in the studio from you to us, sending that message loud and clear that the folks in the Delaware Valley are prepared to respond once again to the challenge of what's happening. If you saw the plight of Feisty, the whale that was stranded in the New York harbor, those folks responded. Those thousands of folks that stood by and watched and cheered when he was released, well, that same thing is happening on the Jersey Shore when the folks at the Marine Mammal Stranding Center are doing their work. You can be part of that work, part of the work here on TV12 with a pledge of $40. Become a member of the Marine Mammal Stranding Center, help them continue their work in education, conservation, and helping the wonderful distressed creatures along the Jersey Shore, hundreds of cities from northern New Jersey all the way down to the tip of Cape May and into our own Delaware River. So if you've ever felt helpless, if you've ever felt that you couldn't make a difference, now in this minute and 24 seconds, you can make the difference. You can double the value of your pledge. You can do it by calling 923-1234 for the Marine Mammal Stranding Center or 1-800-225-1234. Counting down, Ed, back to you.
Mary, I'm standing directly behind several people from the Philadelphia Zoo who are busily taking your phone calls at 923-1234. And sometimes I know these people get mad at me because when I get excited at a moment like this, I tend to talk a little too loud. I hope they'll bear with me because this is a truly wonderful moment here at TV12, as every single phone that I can see here in the studio is busy from caring people just like you. We've proved it time and time again. And sometimes we wonder, do people really care that much about the programs they see and about the plight of the animals that they see on our station? But every time we wonder about it, you rise up and show us you surely do. And that's fabulous. By the way, you've got about 25 seconds left to go in our subscriber dollar for dollar match. I think it's very safe to say indeed that we have made that challenge. And that is wonderful for the moment because we have in effect doubled the value of our pledges. That's great for this moment. But that doesn't mean that the long-term challenge isn't still here. So if you couldn't get through before, if you had trouble getting through here in the studio at 923-1234, if you couldn't get through at 800, do it now. As I said before, don't let this opportunity pass you by. You can become a member of an organization of which you can truly be proud. Actually, two of them, TV12 and the Marine Mammal Stranding Center for your pledge of $40. As I look around me, I see many pledges being taken in that amount, and that is good news for the environment along our Jersey coast. We right here in the Delaware Valley, I can tell you, have led the way around the nation in our concern for the sea creatures who live so close to our shores and who have been in such great distress lately. You've done a great deal to help out, and I'm asking you to do it again. That's a wonderful response that we've seen tonight. And remember, for a final time, by the way, that for every subscription pledge you make, 35 or more, we will also send you for the last time tonight this Whales Zoo book, which is published by the San Diego Zoo. That's in addition, of course, to your membership in the Marine Mammal Stranding Center. If you make that $40 pledge now, there is a chance to get through in the studio now. Do it. Take advantage of the opportunity. Mary?
Thank you, Ed. It truly is an electric evening, as it is every time you show us how much you care. 923-1234 is the number here in our studio. If you've been trying to get through, we are here. 1-800-225-1234 is our 800 number. If you can't get through, send the message as you have done all evening long. You did it for the elephants. You did it for the whales. You have responded generously. You have responded in great number every time we have asked you to show us how much you care. And I'm sure the folks at the Marine Mammal Stranding Center who were here with us on Sunday have certainly captured our hearts with the plight of what's happening at the Jersey Shore. And you can do it too. If you have watched what's happened up in Prince William Sound, if you have seen what happened at the oil spill in our own Delaware River, if you're concerned, now is the time to take action. If you have been postponing becoming a subscriber to TV 12, this August is the time to do it. Don't put it off one more minute. If you've made that pledge of support tonight, we thank you so much. The response has really warmed our hearts. If you have not, join for the Marine Mammal Stranding Center, a $40 pledge. And thank you so much.
Major funding for this series is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you.
Corporate funding for the American Experience is provided by Aetna, Insurance and Financial Services. For more than 130 years, a part of the American Experience.
Good evening, I'm David McCullough. Tonight on a special edition of the American Experience, a public television classic, Lance Bird and Tom Johnson's brilliant portrait of the 1939 World's Fair, The World of Tomorrow. The future is an old story in American life. A better tomorrow has been the dream from the start. They came ashore in New England. They pushed up the valley of the Rio Grande from old Mexico. They came by the millions in steerage at the turn of the century. They are still coming, pulled by the prospect of better days ahead. The American future is an article of faith. It's also been good for business. We love the latest thing, the look of tomorrow, in cars, hats, household gadgets, big buildings. What's new is an old and very American expression. In the 1930s, it was discovered that products of all kinds would sell, even in hard times, if made to look streamlined. And that was the lure of the '39 fair. Come see what modern looks like. But for all our fascination with the future, we've seldom done well predicting it. There's just never been a foreseeable future, and certainly not in 1939, as the world held its breath on the brink of yet another world war. I was 6 years old, and I would have given a lot to have gone to the fair, but I didn't. So let's go. Among the things that the world of tomorrow never wrestled with was how we would pay for that glorious, shiny, perfect world to come. In public television, we recognize there's a very direct connection between your support and the quality of programming we bring you.
That is certainly true, David McCullough. There is a direct connection. And I promise you that the programming will continue to be as special as this if you'll take the time to give us a pledge at 923-1234 before the world of tomorrow continues. My name is Ed Cunningham, and I am proud to tell you that I work here at TV 12, proud of the quality of programs that we bring you, and proud of the support that you continue to bring us here on public television in the Delaware Valley. If you feel inspired to become a subscriber, I've got something here that I think you're going to find quite fascinating indeed. It is this. This is the New York World's Fair of 1939 in postcards. There are 52 of these beauties. It's a commemorative edition for the golden anniversary of the 1939 New York World's Fair. And there you see just a few of them going by on the screen. And think of this as being the perfect way to celebrate a time when there were real possibilities. It seemed like the future was just spreading out before us. The Depression was over. Of course, we had no idea about the conflagration that was about to happen during the 1940s, but what a glorious moment in time it was. You can recapture it with your pledge of $50 now, 923-1234, to receive the 1939 New York World's Fair in postcards. That's our gift to you for becoming a TV 12 subscriber. And what a wonderful program this is. I've watched this before, and Jason Robards really does bring an actor's skills into remembering that special time when he was a very little boy. I remember when I was graduating from high school, we went to the 1964 New York World's Fair. That was a special time for us. If you like to remember, if you like to be nostalgic, if you like to savor those moments in time that we specialize here on TV 12, I invite you to get involved, because that's what public television is all about. If you care about something that really makes a difference to you, that makes a difference in your viewing, call us now and become a subscriber, and we'll happily welcome you into the family. Here's Mary McKinney.
Thanks, Ed. You know, I love these postcards. These are probably one of the most popular gifts that we've ever had, even here on the staff. Everybody seems fascinated with them. They can be yours. You can request them when you make a pledge of $50 at 923-1234. We'll be happy to send them to you. 52 of them ready to mail, except the stamp, of course, but they cover all of the buildings at the World's Fair. It was not only a thematic success, but an artistic success as well. And this book will certainly be yours to have for years to come, or to share with your friends. Yours for a pledge of $60 at 923-1234. And here is the heftiest of the World's Fair gifts that we'd like to offer you. This is called Trilon and Perisphere. This can be yours for a pledge of $125. It is truly a magnificent scrapbook full of the details and the art in 4-color photography and artwork of the World's Fair. There you see some of the things that happened there that probably may never be created again. And as Ed said, if you'd like to go back and maybe daydream a little bit, remember how you walked around that World's Fair, or use this as an educational tool. This is a wonderful way to share the past and the best of the past with your children and grandchildren. So this is truly a wonderful gift. And if you simply cannot decide which one you'd like to have, if I can fit them both on the screen, you can have both of these books for $150. Both the 52 postcards and the Trilon and Perisphere, a tongue twister, can be yours for a pledge of $150. But the important thing is that we hear from you now with a pledge of support for great programs like The American Experience. Become a subscriber and receive a full year of our Applause magazine for 1 year. Show us that this kind of programming, we've been bringing you American Experience all year long. A new season is going to start, and we can do it. We can do more like it if we have your pledge of support now at 923-1234. Back to Ed Cunningham.
You know, Mary, there's nothing else anywhere in the world quite like American public television. On the commercial stations, you watch the programs, they play the commercials, you buy the products, everybody's happy. It's not the way we do business here on public television. There's nothing else quite like it. We're here on the premise that if you care about something that you really like and that really makes a difference to you, then you support it. That's the way public television works. And that's only possible in America, because that's what we believe in doing in America. Standing up for what we believe in and supporting it too. And that's the premise that we're putting this all together on. So if you enjoy this kind of nostalgic look back at the 1939 World's Fair and about the American Experience series, which is coming again in the fall, show us right now, show us that you care with your pledge of support at 923-1234. That's the way we do business here on public television. We think that's the best way to do it of all. And if you're somebody who's never been a subscriber before, call us right now and help your public television station grow. If you're somebody who's been a subscriber and yet somehow you're not receiving Applause magazine anymore, that probably means that your subscription has lapsed. So come on, get on the phone and join up yet again. And by the way, if you're already still a subscriber and you're feeling generous tonight and would like to help us get still more programs, add to the value of your pledge at 923-1234. There are many memories waiting to be made here at TV 12. We've got a lot of talented people who have visions and who have programs they want to produce for you for many years in the future. And your pledge right now will help us to do that. There you see on the screen all of your possibilities for premiums. I don't know how you can choose between this wonderful New York World's Fair and Postcards book and the Trilon and Perisphere book that Mary McKinney was telling you about. As you saw on the screen, you can get them both for a pledge of $150 now at 923-1234. We've got, by the way, a terrific program Saturday night, Glenn Miller, A Moonlight Serenade. Why? You said you wanted it. The last time we played it, your support was so terrific, we're bringing it back. Again, that's the way we do it on public television. Mary?
Thanks, Ed. You know, we're here with the wonderful folks from the Philadelphia Zoo. They've been with us all night, and we thank them for their energy and their enthusiasm in taking your pledges of support. And we'd like to keep them busy these last few moments this evening before we go back to how Hitler won the war. We'd like to keep them busy with your pledge for $125. You know, this is truly leads you down memory lane, step by step, moment by moment. It may be yours to remember. It may be yours just as a trip down the nostalgic past. This shows you that window that took place between the Depression and World War II. If you'd like to have this, it can be yours for a pledge of $125, and we'd love to hear from you at 923-1234. The important thing is that pledge of support, a pledge of support for TV 12 and the kinds of programs that matter to you. Tell us that with a pledge now. If you've already made a pledge this evening, we thank you. It's been a wonderful being with you. If not, why not call now? Thanks so much.
And now back to the magical world of the World of Tomorrow, as it was projected at the 1939 World's Fair. Someone once pointed out that the only thing certain about the future is that it's something everyone reaches at a rate of 60 minutes an hour, whatever he does, wherever he is. In public television, the future is less certain. It very much depends on you.
Hi, I'm Mary McKinney of the WHYY staff, and we'll be going back to the American Experience, the World's Fair of 1939 in just a moment. But I'm here to tell you that we're looking for your support for this kind of programming here on TV 12. We're looking for your pledge at 1-800-225-1234. If this show has taken you back, perhaps you are bathed and swathed in nostalgia tonight, why not make a pledge of support for this kind of programming? We've got a wonderful gift that we'd like to send you. You can request it when you call with that pledge of support for a $50 pledge. This full book of commemorative postcards from the World's Fair. I was just looking through it, and I saw a reproduction of the Trilon and Perisphere, the British Pavilion, and all of the highlights of the World's Fair can be yours. You can send these out, or maybe like me, you just like to hang on to them, put them in your scrapbook. But they're a wonderful way for you not only to remember the 1939 World's Fair, but perhaps the anniversary of also your pledge to TV 12. That pledge that means more great programs like the American Experience can be brought to you here on TV 12. This series, American Experience, was new this year. It will be extended, a whole new series will begin in another year. And it's been made possible by you. It can be possible again because of you. Your pledge of support, whether it's $50 for the World's Fair postcards or a $35 basic subscription, make that pledge of support now at 1-800-225-1234. And you see those little credit card insignias on your screen. We want you to do that if it's convenient for you. MasterCard, Visa, or American Express. It means that we can get that money right back into the programs that you've come to expect and come to demand from us here on TV 12. We're looking for your pledge as we stretch toward our goal of $550,000 this August. Here with some reasons why you should do it tonight is Ed Cunningham.
Well, Mary, this postcard book is absolutely the most fascinating thing. And again, a reminder, it's yours for a pledge of $50 at 1-800-225-1234. I can top the one that you found, Mary McKinney. How about this one? I'm talking about the 14-ton giant Underwood Master typewriter postcard. Apparently, it operated daily at the World's Fair in 1939. I have no idea how they pressed down the keys, but there it was. And that's one of 52 of these commemorative postcards. There it is. Look at that thing. That's amazing. For yours for a pledge of $50 at 1-800-225-1234. Fascinating. Think about it. You can alarm your friends by sending them a postcard from the 39 World's Fair. Or you can keep them yourself, which I suspect you'd prefer to do. But gee whiz, here's something else, too. I finished telling you about one gift that's great. Here's something that may be even greater. The biggest, most beautiful book you're going to find in this pledge drive, I guarantee. It's called Trilon and Perisphere, and it's the commemorative of the 1939 World's Fair in some of the most beautiful full-color photographs you are ever going to see. It's a jam-packed scrapbook of the World's Fair, collecting original plans and drawings, promotional materials, souvenirs, and snapshots from fairgoers. 290 illustrations with 175 of them in full color. Now, they're talking about a large format, and that's exactly what it is. Now, I'm a pretty big guy, but this thing is pretty darn big, too. If you'd like to have it, it's yours for a pledge of $125, 1-800-225-1234. Now, you may say to yourself, Ed, you just told me about two great things. How do I choose? You don't have to choose. You can have them both for a pledge of $150 at 1-800-225-1234. Get them both, and remember the 1939 New York World's Fair. You may not have been there, you may not have been born yet, but I'll bet you probably wish you were after having received these two wonderful gifts and having seen this wonderful program. Put it on your Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. It's very easy for you, very easy for us. You don't have to worry about paying right away. We'll let the credit card company take care of all the details. But do it now, because there's plenty more great programming where this came from. Here's Mary.
Thanks, Ed. I was just sitting here daydreaming, looking through this book at all the wonderful buildings that were at the 1939 World's Fair, wishing I had been there. I wasn't, however, but you can be there. You can be there by making a pledge of support to TV 12 for $50 and receiving this wonderful book of commemorative postcards. This really shows you what the World's Fair was like, the most popular World's Fair in history. If you'd like to have this, you can certainly do that. Call one of our operators. They'll be happy to take your pledge. You know, this is the kind of programming that you won't find anywhere else. You won't find it on commercial television simply because they're not willing to make the commitment to bring it to you. We are proud to do that. We're proud to know that you have a place on the dial here at TV 12 where we'll bring you the kinds of programs that you enjoy. Programs like this American Experience on the World's Fair, programs like How Hitler Lost the War, the controversial look at the Second World War, and even the wonderful Glenn Miller Moonlight Serenade that'll be on Saturday night. Would you find that on commercial broadcasting? I don't think so. I think you will only find it here on TV 12. And we can only continue to bring you the kinds of programs that you expect from us with a pledge of support from you, a pledge at 1-800-225-1234. You know, this kind of programming is something that takes us all back a little bit, and it takes us all back and bathes us in nostalgia. But we're here to launch the future, if you will, launch new programs, new promises, and those promises can only be fulfilled if you will make a pledge of support, a pledge to keep us going. And here is back to Ed Cunningham.
And I've got to take just a moment, Mary, to sing the praises of the narration done by Jason Robards on this program, which adds so much to it. He really brings an actor's skills to making you feel you're right there along with him at the 1939 World's Fair when he was a little boy. Now, I can't help but reading just a very quick quote from Trilon and Perisphere, yours for a pledge of $125, by the way. It says, the 1939 New York World's Fair stands as a charmed moment in American life, a brief respite between a decade of economic depression and years of global conflagration. It really was a wonderful, wonderful time and a wonderful fair. And you can commemorate it and celebrate it tonight, along with us, the folks from the Philadelphia Zoo, Mary McKinney, me, everybody, with the pledge right now at 1-800-225-1234, because you'll be sure there's plenty more like it coming up. And of course, Mary, as you mentioned, we've got a brand new season of the American Experience coming up, all yours for the pledging.
Absolutely, and the World's Fair of 1939 was called Building the World of Tomorrow. We'd like to build a new world of wonderful programs here on TV 12, like the American Experience. If you've made a pledge of support this evening, we thank you so much. If you haven't, still time to do it at 1-800-225-1234. Hope you enjoy the program.
I'll second that.
And now we return to the final act of Lance Bird and Tom Johnson's film, The World of Tomorrow.
Major funding for this series is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you.
Corporate funding for the American Experience is provided by Aetna, Insurance and Financial Services. For more than 130 years, a part of the American Experience.
Hello, I'm Ed Cunningham, and as Jason Robards said at the end of this program, the world really has changed a great deal since 1939, hasn't it? But there's some things that don't change, and one of those things, I think one of the most important things, is that when somebody cares about something that's worthwhile, it's good to get involved. And that's the hallmark of what public television is about, especially tonight on this Wednesday night during our August pledge drive. You can get involved. I know that you cared about this program, and I think you're going to care very much about this program you see coming up next, How Hitler Lost the War. You see some very nice people there from the Philadelphia Zoo who have been with us through this very long but very happy evening, because it's been a celebration of many things, a celebration of wildlife, a celebration of nostalgia, a celebration of public television that you can get involved with now with your pledge at 1-800-225-1234. And for the last time tonight, I want to tell you about this, one of the really niftiest premiums, I guess is the only way to describe it, that I have seen in a while. This is the 1939 New York World's Fair in postcards. And there are 52 of these in all, and what postcards they are. You've got the Hall of Medals in here. Let me just show you one of those pages there. And think of it, you can send some of these to your friends and let them try to figure out how you sent a postcard from the 39 World's Fair. Or, as I think is probably the most logical alternative, keep them as a memento of the night that you became a TV12 subscriber, and you can mull over them for a long time to come and remember about that one special moment in American life between the Great Depression and between the war that came up next and that caused so much misery. This was a very magic moment in 1939. We're remembering it tonight, and we're hoping that you'll become involved with your public television station with your pledge now at 1-800-225-1234. Another person who remembers, Mary McKinney.
Certainly do remember, not as far back as the 1939 World's Fair, but I'm here to remember with you and to enjoy some of the wonderful photography in this show. And the really poignant and nostalgic commentary by Jason Robards was simply wonderful. Well, if you share our joy in bringing this American experience special to you, why not commemorate it too by subscribing to TV12 and requesting this book of 52 full-color postcards. I've seen some wonderful, we've been poring over this all night. And here to commemorate the zoo's appearance is the New York Zoological Society exhibit building at the 1939 World's Fair. Everything from Chrysler, Eastman, Kodak, and Bell Telephone all had buildings at that exhibit. This is yours to keep simply, or yours to share with those friends. They'll certainly wonder where you got them. But the important thing is that pledge right now at 1-800-225-1234. And this is truly a scrapbook, truly a wonderful piece of memorabilia about the 1939 World's Fair, Trilon and Paris Fair. This is a complete scrapbook. Yours for $125 pledge here at TV12. It has maps of the World's Fair, certainly commentary, and some wonderful photographs of the dress and the things that went on at that fair that were certainly memorable. It was certainly one of the most popular World's Fairs ever, and one that you want to remember. You might want to request this book for $125, or if you simply cannot choose, why not make a pledge for both of them at $150, both the 52 postcard book and the Trilon and Paris Fair. You can request it when you call one of our operators with a pledge of support. You know, it's wonderful to plan for tomorrow, and they certainly were dreaming. That World's Fair was where they first saw television. The public was exposed to it. Well, here we are in 1989, ready to plan a future for you and a future for us here at TV12. And we can only do it with your help. We can do it for you and because of you, because you cared enough to become a subscriber with a pledge of $35 or more. Our friends from the Philadelphia Zoo are here to take your pledge. Dial 1-800-225-1234. Become a subscriber, become a participant in the dream of public television. You know, we look back and we look at all these wonderful photographs, and it just sort of bathes you in nostalgia. You want to become part of it. Where was I then? Do I remember this? Do I remember that? Well, these gifts are our way of saying thank you. Thank you for that pledge of support in commemoration of a wonderful dream, public broadcasting. Back to Ed.
Well, Mary, of course, I wasn't around in 1939, but watching a program like this, as we've done tonight, kind of makes you wish you were there. There was such an air of possibilities, that what we could do in the future that was very much the feeling in 1939. Sometimes we lost sight of that fact. Since then, sometimes we have to be reminded of it, that there are always great possibilities. That's why we're here, to bring you those possibilities in public broadcasting. And you can become involved with it with your pledge at 1-800-225-1234. You may ask yourself why we fundraise. Well, we're here 3 times a year, and the obvious answer is we're here to raise funds for TV12. That's the obvious reason. But there's another reason, too, because every time we get a nice response to a program like you just saw tonight on The American Experience, we know that you appreciate it, and you appreciate it enough to take the trouble to go to the phone and make a pledge to support it. That's a message that goes out very, very loud and clear to us, I can assure you. That's why we fundraise. That's why we have these pledge drives, to give us the support and encouragement we need to get more like it in the future. And if you're somebody who's never become a TV12 subscriber before, Why not do it right now? I think you're going to feel very good becoming a part of the TV12 family. It's going to help us to grow and to do even better things in the future. We've got a ways to go to be the kind of station we think we really should be. Your support will help us get there. And with a pledge of $50, 1-800-225-1234, one of the nicest, most fun premiums we have ever had, the New York World's Fair, in 52 postcards. Mary?
Thanks, Ed. You know, we are here during this August pledge drive looking for $550,000 in pledges. We've had a wonderful evening this evening with you, and we hope that you've considered making that pledge. If we haven't convinced you yet, we'd like to do that during these few moments. 1-800-225-1234 is the number, and we're here to offer you a subscription promise that we will do everything that we can to bring you the kinds of programming that you want to see, and we are here to promise that if you pledge $125, we'll also get you this wonderful scrapbook of the World's Fair called Trilon and Parasphere. It can be yours. If you've enjoyed this wonderful programming through American Experience, we're ready to go hear how Hitler lost the war, perhaps another point of view, if you will, on the Second World War. Regardless of whether you accept or reject the format, the point of view, we are here to tell you that this is the kind of programming we're so proud to bring you. We can do it with your help. We can do it because you care. Make that pledge of support now. Thank you. How Hitler Lost the War has been made possible by this and other public television stations nationwide, which depend on your support. Additional funds have been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.